You just got wrecked.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Tuesday. Hope you're having an awesome week so far. Having a look at what is going on. XRP, 0% gains. I love it when I get it right on the neutral. But today is a good day. As you can see, we have Bitcoin up 4%. Bitcoin is once again leading the pack. You can see these altcoins, not many of them with big gains. Ethereum up 0.66, Bitcoin Cash 0.4, EOS 0.9, okay? Now, there are some altcoins that are doing quite well, okay? So not to say that there aren't some altcoins you could get into and be seeing some massive gains, but once again, we're having another day where Bitcoin is just leading the pack. So I want to talk about some stuff that a lot of people have been bringing up recently about comparing the Bitcoin run that we're having right now to 2017 and how they look almost similar. But I do want to go into how they're not similar. In fact, they're very, very different. And I want to stress the fact that we are not in the same market that we were in 2017. And on top of that, we've had some people come out, like Alessio Rastani, for example, saying potentially there may be a chance to go lower than the low that we already put in, meaning that we would go lower than $3,100. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about if it's actually realistically possible to go that low. And yeah, I mean, if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. Also, if it's your first time checking out the Crypto Zombie channel and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? We do this every single day. Now let's dive in. Let's have a look. Let's give this a quick refresh live. So the market cap is up $2 billion, but you'll notice Bitcoin dominance is now at 60%. And we said if we were really going to look for that alt season, we would need it to pull back to around 50%, right? So once again, another day when all eyes are on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is sitting around $11,335. Now we do have some gainers today, guys. Energy, we've been talking about energy on this channel for quite some time. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this. I do have energy earn drop link below. If you guys want, you can use my link and you'll actually get free energy, okay? Like, yeah, you do have to do KYC. The reason for this is because if you didn't, then you could just keep changing VPNs and get as much energy as you want. But I do have a link below, so if you guys are interested, Hypercash is up, Vechain, Crypto.com, Agrisha still on a tear. Quant Network, guys, come on. I told you about Quant last year, guys. We knew that was going to do well. Made Safe, ABBC, Chainlink, Crypto. So look, we do have altcoins that are up, right? But let's have a look at Bitcoin, because this morning we actually had a little bit of a scare. Everyone thought we were going to dump for a second. You can see right here, Bitcoin actually fell all the way down, and we touched right around $10,800. Now, I'm noticing right now, it seems like we're almost forming a bit of a, just like a channel, right? Almost like a flag. You could look right here where we're just going upwards, and it looks like we're just bouncing up and down. Look, as soon as we came down here, we instantly got sucked back up into the top. I also had this other line in here too. We might be forming somewhat of a very, very, very long wedge, possibly, but right now it looks more like we're sort of in this pennant formation. Obviously we are out of this ascending, broadening wedge that we were once we broke above. It was around that, like $9,900 level that we've been talking about for, over a week now. And as you can see right here, we are in the blue zone. As I've said multiple times, if we were to close the CME futures gap, then we would have to come down here to about $7,200. Not saying that we're going to do that. Currently, we are above all of the EMA ribbons on the 4-hour. Very, very good short term. And we are maintaining this upwards trend. So if we do, as we get closer to this $11,700, it's not a psychological level, it's an actual technical level that I spoke about in yesterday's video. Just go watch yesterday's video. You'll see all the times that we had resistance and support for this level. So if we do climb up here, you could potentially be looking by maybe June 29th. By June 29th, we could see a massive breakout for Bitcoin. However, we do know that Bitcoin tends to break out sooner than later. But let's talk about this parabolic uptrend. Is it sustainable? Is it possible to keep just going upwards? Do we need to have this 30 to 40% pullback? Well, as Alex Kruger pointed out, Bitcoin has already increased 250% between the December lows and now. Another 250% increase would actually take us to $38,500, okay? That was if we were to repeat what we've already repeated, right? Obviously, past performance, not indicative of future results, but I do like what Bitcoin Theory said right here. No one big seller below 20K. All who wanted already sold in 2017 and 2018. So seems right. Next big seller might be 30 or 40K. He says that's not a forecast. Forecasts above your highs are pure guesswork. Will basically hit resistance every 5 to 10K. Once above 20K should hit hit 25K real fast, likely no stopping until 30K. And I told you guys, the higher we go, the faster we're going to go, the more parabolic it's going to go. And yes, okay, there could be a bigger correction, but that's just how the cookie crumbles, so to speak, right? Now, I did retweet what Khaleo posted over here, and you can see right here, if you have a look, he says, do I really need to say what happens next? And having a look at this chart, I mean, you could see we are following this parabolic curve, right? Now, nothing does go up forever, which is why Alessio was saying potentially we go to new lows or put in a new lower bottom, right? But I personally don't think that, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to show you why if you stick around in a second. But as you can see, following this trajectory, even if we were to come down here and have some nice healthy retracements, well, we would still continue up. But I do want to point out that it's very different this time, and I have two things maybe a little bit concerning, maybe something that we should look at before just getting super, moon boy to the moon Lambo, right? But look, this is when Bitcoin was last $11,500. This is a historical snapshot from CoinMarketCap on March 4th. Now, what do you notice to be the difference here? Well, let's have a look. Ethereum was $866. XRP was $1.01. Bitcoin Cash, $1,289. Litecoin, $213. Cardano, 30 cents. Neo, 119. Do you see the difference? The last time the altcoins were feeling the love, whereas this time it's only Bitcoin. So this begs the question, is this a institutionally driven bull run that we're having? Is it not the retail bull run? Well, having a look over here, I want to point out something that's very, very interesting. Now, these are moving averages. They're simple moving averages, okay? I have the 50, I have the 100, and I have the 200, okay? Very, very commonly used moving averages. Now, this is the bull run that we had of 2017. And I want to point out something that you'll notice, okay? You'll notice that we actually dip down into them, and we are stopped by the 100 several times, and other times we go low. Okay, so look, we dipped into it here, right? A couple times here, right here, down here, okay? And it definitely held support during this, right when we were moving over as we started coming down. And then obviously once it got above us, well, we were just in full-on bear territory. But the thing I'm trying to point out is the only time we didn't have where we were actually being supported by these averages were when we had the massive parabolic run-up. And look, if we go to what's happening right now, we're not even close. As soon as we had these golden crosses, Bitcoin shot up, and look, that's it. I mean, we just weren't, you understand what I'm saying? So that is a little bit of a concern. Some traders out there would like to see us at least touch some of these, come down here and test some of them, even the 50 minimally. So, and then also we do have the 200, weekly, which we'll get into in just a second. I'm going to talk about that. That is important. But is this an institutional driven pump? Well, have a look right here. Obviously, we have Facebook. They're going to be launching their Libra coin, right? Coinbase Custody, which only accepts institutional investors with more than 100 million in assets, says that it expects to see 2 billion in assets under custody very soon. Don't forget, we have Backed launching in July. Hopefully, it doesn't get pushed back again. Institutional investors are paying a 37%. Yes, you heard me right, a 37% premium to invest in Bitcoin through the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which is being publicly traded in USA. And also the trust is now estimated, as we spoke, to gobble up 21% of all the new supply of Bitcoin each month, in a promising sign that its institutional investors are in fact FOMOing this time around, okay? And I want to talk about something. I put this poll out yesterday, and I said, when did you first buy your first Bitcoin, right? Now, here's the interesting thing. So we're saying that it's not retail driven. I would argue that it's mostly institutional driven, but it is somewhat retail driven. And look, this right here proves it. I had 1,012 people respond to this poll yesterday. Thank you to everybody that took part in this. And as you can see, 2017, we had 40% of people buy their first Bitcoin. But here's the interesting thing. The second was 2019, which means that 23%, or 238 people that actually decided to, engage in this poll, just bought their first Bitcoin this year. That's pretty incredible considering, guys. We also had 20% buying in 2018, 14% before 2017, and 1% of you have still not bought Bitcoin yet? Wow, that's pretty crazy. Well, thank you for watching the channel and not owning any Bitcoin. That's pretty interesting. So I just wanted to point out that we have a lot of new retail investors as well. So it's not just institutions. However, I do believe that the institutions are the driving force behind this. Now, looking at this as well, Jeremy Allaire, he's the CEO of Circle, he spoke about the market's upward price movement over the past 3 months. He said, like a majority of the influencers in the space, that he does believe that the crypto the bottom is in, that we bottomed in December. He said that that was the time frame during which they started to see long-term investors building a significant position in the top cryptos, which was later unfolded in Q2 with people declaring the arrival of, obviously, crypto spring, right? Now, here is the thing. If we have a look at this video that Alessio Rastani put out that everyone's talking about, he's potentially talking about being in, these waves. I'm not a big fan of wave theory. I think here's the thing, okay? Technical analysis does help, but I don't believe that technical analysis is the be-all, end-all, everything. You need to also look at fundamentals. You need to look at the fact that all eyes are on Bitcoin. Institutions are getting in. It's very different this time. It's not just following, and I do TA, but it's not just TA that makes this happen. And honestly, one thing I want to point out why I think we've bottomed personally, and this is a very, very simple reason. It's not complex. It doesn't take a genius to see this. I mean, a 5-year-old can see this. This is the 200 weekly moving average, and this is it dating all the way back to June of 2014. Okay, so since June of 2014, you could see right here, we tested it a little bit in January of 2015, and right here, we tested it a little bit in August of 2015, and right here, where we had our Bitcoin bottom, we touched it. We literally kissed it, pulled back up, and then we tried to just barely touch it again, and that was it. And you could see we have never, with the exception of these 2 times or 3 times, maybe a little bit right here, ever fallen below this. So the question is, if this 200 weekly moving average has been supporting us since the end of basically 2014, mid 2014, why would it suddenly not? Why would we suddenly go below this? Because right now, this is sitting around, if you look at where we are right now, it's around $3,900. So the 200 weekly moving average says if we were to absolutely just, doom and gloom and crash and burn and the whole market just takes the biggest dump it's ever seen, well, we still should not go below 3,900. Now, I know that you probably don't want us to go that low unless you're one of the 1% of people sitting on the sidelines waiting to buy that cheap Bitcoin, but I don't think it's going to happen. If it hasn't happened since 2014, why would it happen now? Why would it happen? What would be different, right? And also, who's selling? I'm not selling. Are you selling? I'm not selling my Bitcoin. So that's just something that I wanted to just point out. So yeah, that was, I had a note over here, but that was for yesterday. I guess I forgot to put that in the video. But the other thing I wanted to point out too is we could see right here, this is gold. So gold is actually at $1,431 as well. So you're seeing Bitcoin's going up, gold is going up. So are central banks buying Bitcoin and gold? That's a question that I've seen going around as well. You can see right here. Now, obviously, I spoke about the key difference between the amount, okay? Obviously, there is a big difference between gold and Bitcoin currently. If you've been holding gold since the beginning of the year, well, you've seen an 11% increase. Whereas if you've been holding Bitcoin since the beginning of the year, well, you've seen over 212% increase. So a little bit different, right? So you had Peter Schiff. He said both gold and Bitcoin prices have risen recently, causing many to erroneously conclude that the two are rising for the same reason, but stocks and bond prices are also rising. Bitcoin and stocks are rising as speculative assets, while gold and bonds are rising as safe havens. And Max Kaiser said, nope, gold and Bitcoin are rising as safe haven plays. Stocks and bonds and the US dollar are in historic bubbles. The biggest surprise of 2019 will be the revelation of a central bank, right? Probably Russia, adding Bitcoin as strategic reserve, okay? Now, I want to just kind of keep going on this concept. You have Kraken employee Austin Alexander. He recently came out and he started, now who is this with? CoinRivet, right? So he said they started out by telling them that institutional money will come eventually because Bitcoin will continue to grow as it's the best money that's ever been created. He said if they want to come now or if they want to come next year, or if they want to wait 10 years, the sooner the better for these institutions. But there's infinite fiat out there. There's infinite slave money, as he words it, okay? But he says the supply side is where most important, he says the supply side is what is most important to go after because Bitcoin is amazing. The bad money will chase the good money, okay? And there is infinite amounts of fiat out there. I mean, as a matter of fact, just having a look at our good old purchasing power of the US dollar chart, you could see that, if you had the same dollar, the same value, that dollar, what you could purchase back in 1913 is now less than 5 cents. Okay, so just think about that moving forward. And also thought it was interesting because Kraken, since we're on the topic, they actually responded to what Peter Schiff had said. They said, we respect the quest for sound money, but Peter Schiff is wrong when he says there's no way that people are going to work for salaries paid in Bitcoin. They say Kraken has paid 250 salaries in Bitcoin in April, and more employees are opting for crypto every month. In fact, they say right here, by the way, the employee who took 100% Bitcoin in 2012 retired in 2013. So I actually wanted to ask you guys a question. Would you be paid in Bitcoin right now? Like if you could talk to your job and you could switch from being paid in fiat or getting a check every week and you could start getting direct deposit of Bitcoin into your account, would you do that? I'm curious. Let me know. So maybe we'll drop a poll and we'll see what you guys think about that. Now, let's talk about some coin news, some crypto news, and let's get on out of here because I know you guys got places to be. I thought this was an interesting statistic from Kevin Rook. So 86.4% of all Bitcoin SV volume yesterday came from 100 transactions. The BSV network is a total ghost town. However, despite that, the network value is up 4.5 billion. Interesting. So yeah, that's can you imagine if that much was just for Bitcoin alone? Also, massive news for Vechain, okay? In a major announcement, we have Wal-Mart joining hands with Vechain. Now, it says right here that the deal is between Vechain and their Chinese subsidiaries. So Wal-Mart in China, according to publication Chain News. So they stated that Wal-Mart China has already tested 23 products using the Vechain blockchain network. They also note that in the second half of 2019, it will be testing 100 other products across multiple categories like seafood, fresh meat, vegetables, and private labels. So that's probably why we're seeing a big spike today for Vechain. Also, great news for Ontology. They will be listed on Zeus app, which means that you can use your Ont tokens to pay anywhere that accepts Apple Pay and Samsung Pay. So that is it's pretty cool, guys. We also have some updates. It looks like Brave is trying to, they're looking to integrate these new browser wallets. And you can see Ledger and Trezor has easy connecting points. Also, not 100% sure, but Tron Independence Day. This came out yesterday. So am I a day late? Did I miss the party, guys? I'm not sure. But it says Tron has prepared a live stream campaign that everyone is welcome to join. Rules are really simple. Just retweet with a comment, yada, yada, yada. So there you go. We have Independence Day for Tron, so that is pretty interesting. And before we get on with the big topic, everyone was asking about what's going on with Algorand, what was up with that massive dump, and why were so many VCs excited about that? Well, I wanted to get into that. I told you guys I would cover it on the channel, but first, I do want to have a message from the sponsors. We have XCOEX over here. Now, if you guys are interested, they are a new exchange. They do offer a few coins. They have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and XRP currently right now. And they do have a transfer crypto get cash giveaway that's going on. So basically, I know this is a little bit late. It's at the end of the month. There is only 5 days left, but hey, better late than never, right? So starting from June 1st, basically for 1 month, they will deposit $1,000 worth of Bitcoin Cash randomly into different traders' accounts that sign up. So if we scroll down over here, you can see that to withdraw money, the user needs to make any 5 operations to the XCOEX exchange, and it needs to be $20. So basically the requirements are register, transfer the $20, and then you also have to join their Telegram and their Twitter as well. So basically that's the situation, and this is where they do it. I actually was watching a video the other day. Basically you can see right here, they do a randomly generated thing, and then they pick the winner, and then they will send you the $1,000 worth of Bitcoin Cash. So if that's something that you're interested in. Now, currently when you go there as a US citizen, it says, unfortunately, we are unable to accept clients from this country at the moment. So there's probably a KYC involved. Obviously, as US citizen, I was unable to do this, but you can check that out if you're not and see what that's all about for sure. So if you are interested, you can have a look at that. Now, talking about Algorand. Now, Algorand had a massive, massive sell-off. You could see right here. Now, this is to be expected from a lot of newly listed tokens generally, although it didn't have an IEO, which is interesting. Now let's see if it's gone up since. Okay, yeah, it looks like people are actually buying the dip. So that's pretty good. What is going on right now? Something's playing. 1 second, guys. Da Vinci. Da Vinci, what are you doing? You just randomly showed up on my thing. So what's up, Da Vinci? All right, getting back to Algorand. So essentially, The algo auction was held on June 19th, and there were 25 million algos that were sold at a clearing price of around $2.40. Now, some people were asking me, what is a Dutch auction? Well, according to Investopedia, it is a public offering auction structuring in which the price of the offering is set after taking in all bids to determine the highest price at which the total offering can be sold. So, in this type of auction, investors place a bid for the amount they are willing to buy in terms of quantity and price. So unlike traditional auctions, the price of the asset continues to fall until the winning bid is made. So in the case of a Dutch auction, the price with the highest amount of bidders becomes the offering price. While not the most popular type of auction, this is interesting. Dutch auctions have been used by massive tech companies like Google for their IPO and even the US Treasury to sell bonds. I did not know that. So that's very interesting. But you can see right here, they do have everything transparently if you are interested in looking at that. But the thing I want to point out is considering that went for $2.40, you had private sale tokens going for 10 cents. So my goodness, that is a very, very good return for anyone who got in on the 1 cent. Yeah, you can see here, I didn't have this page loaded the other day when it had dumped, so it was down 28%. And that was why a lot of people were asking. But I think the bigger question is, what is Algorand? Now, everything that I'm showing you is available on their website. You could do this research yourself, but since you've been asking me, I've decided to entertain. Why not? It's an interesting token. Obviously, I'm looking at it. I'm keeping my eyes on it. So one thing that I like is they have they have scientific advisors and they have cryptocurrency advisors as well. And the other thing too is the founder actually has a pretty incredible biography. If you have a look at what this guy has done, you've seen some teams where the CEO is basically just an entrepreneur, has an idea, hires a bunch of guys. Well, if you look over here, this guy, he's been on the faculty at MIT Electrical Engineering and Computer Science Department since 1983. Now, here's really what's interesting. He's the co-inventor of probabilistic encryption, zero-knowledge proofs, verifiable random functions, and many of the protocols that are the foundations of modern cryptography. Now, we see zero-knowledge proofs all over the place. ZK snarks, right? Very, very common in a lot of these. He's also the recipient of the Turing Award in computer science of the I think it's Gödel Prize, I'm not sure how to say that, in Theoretical Computer Science and the RSA Prize in Cryptography. He's a member of the National Academy of Science, the National Academy of Engineering, and the American Academy of Arts and Sciences and Academia de Lindsay. Okay, so long story short, man, he's even got his Lorraine mathematics. Wow. So yeah, this dude, he definitely has experience in what he's doing. Now, he actually put out a blog post that discussed what they're trying to do. Now, for me, what I've taken away from Algorand essentially is they're looking to solve that, trilemma, right? Where you have scalability, security, and speed, right? Decentralization. So that is basically what they're looking to solve. So you can see right here in Algorand, no money is ever hostage. All money is always where it should be, in your wallet and at the fingertips to be spent, right? So he says that it's impossible for the owners of a small fraction of the money to harm the whole system, and it would be silly for the owners of the majority of the money to misbehave so as to devalue their own holdings. So in proof of work or bonded proof of stake, a few users can prevent other users from transacting. In Algorand, only the owners of the majority of the money could prevent other users from transactions. But if they did so, the reputation of the currency would be greatly harmed, the currency would no longer universally be accepted, and its purchasing power would be greatly diminished. Not a good outcome for the owners of the majority of the money, right? Now, scrolling down here, there's a lot. Actually, I'm going to drop this below. Lots of good information here. But let's talk about the trilemma, okay? So you have scalability, security, and decentralization. So this is basically what they're aiming to solve. Number one is scalability. So they say, how long does it take for a user to run their own lottery? Roughly a microsecond, no matter how many tokens this user has. So once selected, each member propagates to the network a single short and immediately computed message. So no matter how many users are in the system, the maximum number of messages that needs to be propagated is 1,000 short messages. So they say, is that scalable? Yes, it is. The second part of the trilemma is the security. So assume that I'm a very powerful adversary capable of corrupting users extremely quickly whenever I want. Clearly, I would love to corrupt the members of the committee, but I have a problem. I don't know who they are. This is so because committee members are selected by a secretly run, cryptographically fair individual lottery. So the Algorand approach is secure because beforehand, an adversary does not know whom to corrupt. And by the time he does, corruption is useless because every single time it's randomly picked and nobody knows who it is. And by the time you do know, it's too late. And finally, which this is for what I think most people are concerned, is the decentralized aspect. Do we have any actually truly decentralized cryptocurrencies out there, right? Well, they're aiming to be one of them. So a committee has been randomly and secretly selected. Next time, a different committee will be randomly and secretly selected. This continues. Everybody has the chance of participating in the generation of a new block. And finally, I wanted to talk about the fact that because of this, it's non-forkable, right? Like Neo. So an additional advantage is that you can't fork it because only one block is required for the threshold of committee votes. So in Algorand, all transactions are final. Once a block appears, you can count on it to be forever part of the chain. And if the new block contains a payment made to you, you may consider yourself paid and send the goods immediately, right? So obviously we've talked about it. Security is very important. Scalability is very important as well because they use the protocol of, the protocol uses pure proof of stake, right? This is good, right? Proof of stake, less harmful on the environment. Now, some people may argue that this gives the whales power, but we've talked about the randomness of it, right? So basically, this is going to allow it to scale to millions of users and sustain a high transaction rate. Now, I don't know exactly how fast Algorand is. I personally have never sent it myself, but they're saying within seconds, right? So it's entirely decentralized, which means that, there's no powerful central authority. Nodes are run by entities across the world, fair, transparent, accurate, secure. Scrolling down here, talking about proof of stake, the power is in the hands of the users, right? Because it's proof of stake, right? So it's staking rewards. Every user receives an amount of rewards proportional to their stake for every block, right? So that is what they're taking. And if you guys want a little bit more deep dives in here, this is one of probably the most informative websites I've ever been to. Like some websites don't really have a lot of info, but look, they have all these videos and different resources that you guys can watch. And I highly suggest that if you're interested in figuring out more about what Algorand is, definitely check it out. I hope you guys appreciated my little bit of an overview. A lot of you were asking about this. So that is what is going on with Algorand. Thank you so much for everyone that's been coming back to the channel. You guys rock. If you stuck it out to the end, you are a trooper. As you know, every Monday we do our Ledger Nano S giveaways. All you have to do is literally drop a comment, and that's it. On any video. That's it. Not much to ask, right? So thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I do appreciate it. Obviously, everyone that's been supporting the channel by, picking up a ledger, using the referral links below, downloading Brave browser. Don't forget to get your energy, guys, if you want to get some energy tokens or energy coins before that's out, because they're only going to have that for a little bit longer, and then it's not going to be available for US and Canada. So just want to let you guys know that, okay? So once again, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. My name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.